Hello, friends, viewers, subscribers, commentators, strangers. Hello. Today's subject is alternatives to self-harm. First of all, what's self-harm? It's when people take matches and burn themselves, or stick their hands on the hot stove top, or slice themselves, scratch themselves, hit themselves with things. You get the point, right? There's a lot of variations in it. And so the reason why people self-harm is when one is overcome with emotions and thoughts that are scary and terrifying, or flashbacks. Then people need to do something to bring themselves back to reality, to bring themselves clearly focused upon the here and now, and not upon those kinds of thoughts or feelings. It is a completely natural reaction for anybody to do it. There's no judgment. It's a natural thing. Lots and lots of people have that happen to them. Now, the way self-harm works is it overwhelms the person in a different way through the senses. So extreme pain, or seeing something like blood pouring out yourself, these things can overwhelm the brain in a different way. But that, as strange as it might sound, that's what people need sometimes. If they're burning themselves or cutting themselves, hitting themselves with things, there's an obvious path from that type of situation to greater levels of self-harm and self-destruction, including suicide. So this video is about what can you do besides self-harm, and I'm going to make a few suggestions. They're just suggestions. It's very important that we realize that we are unique in what may work for us, although we are all together in the way things affect us and how it feels when we are overwhelmed and subjected to emotions and thoughts that prevent everyday life. And so the alternatives to self-harm work on the exact same principle of overwhelming the senses, and it's very important that people look these things up and look at some of there's so many different ways, but they all fall under this heading called grounding exercises. Now, for me personally, I usually have a film canister, and inside that I have some essential oil mixes, and I take big deep breaths of it, and it really helps calm me and bring my mind back to where I am. And that's me, though. For somebody else, it could be that the ringing of harmonic bells is the thing that really kind of brings you back to now. It could be having a saucepan or your sink filled with icy cold water, and then you dip your face in it for about 10 seconds, and it'll trick your brain and body into thinking that you're literally diving into water. So that changes all the chemistry and stuff that's happening within you. You can also do other things with temperature, such as just putting your hands in cold water. I would definitely recommend avoiding hot water because it can lead to extremes. So these things are all called grounding exercises. You can also just play in the soil and the earth, because this is like immersive. It's immersive stuff. You can garden, you can cook. Cooking for somebody else might be the better way to do it, because it might just like instill you know, the focus. But again, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of grounding exercises, and none of them will leave you feeling ashamed or guilty. And although it might not seem as dramatic to smell oils or do something with water or eat like pop rocks or something, because it's very immersive, these things all work. They work so well, and they're a healthier alternative. And you've got to really be fucking it up if you're playing with essential oils and you end up bleeding or burnt, you know. These things are really safe. There are so many of them. It can be a textural thing for some people, like if you had a piece of fake fur with you that you could stroke or place against your cheek. It could be that you need like a crinkly nylon material, like cats like. There are many ways to think about it, but the thing is, if you just consider, you know, what would work for you. Would it be like really uplifting loud dance music and doing some crazy ecstatic dancing? I do that really often. That's a really great thing to do. It's very difficult to feel suicidal if you're dancing. Yeah, the other thing with this stuff is, if you have a friend, or you know somebody, or it's yourself, and you're struggling with self-harm, try and take away the judgment. Try and take away the judgment, and just accept that it's what you need to do, or it's just what your friend needs to do to cope. That's all it is. It's what somebody needs to do to get by. And like, it might sound extreme to some people that people have to like slice themselves open just to deal with an emotion, but it is an experience that a lot of us share with each other. And so I hope that this finds you well and helps you, if only a tiny bit. Okay, thank you so much for listening and joining me with this today. Take care.